Spoiler alert, Slashers Paradise encourages viewers to watch these horror films before listening to our show. Danny and Lance will go through everything, including filmmaking, dialogue, characters, and even full scene breakdowns when we get excited. Enjoy the show.
Hello! You've reached Horrortown Video. After hours. For store hours, please press 1. For the horror movie recommendation of the week, please press 2. For the slash word of the night, please press 3. For all other recommend, you've selected the slash word of the night. Tonight's slash word is bat.
Go ahead. What are you waiting for, Danny?
What are you waiting for?
I'm still wait. What are you waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for, huh?
I'm still waiting.
Are you still waiting?
I am still waiting.
I'm still waiting for this to get old. Oh wait, it already did.
God. Welcome to Slashers Paradise, everybody. That's Danny, and I am Lance. I still know what you did last summer, and Danny is showing off his beautiful Hawaiian shirt.
I still know what you did last summer, Lance, and I am dressed the part. I think if you feel good, you play good, as they say, and motivated people motivate people. And I would just like to say, we're in the Slashers Paradise, and it's time to get that island feel. Not going to do that accent. It's time to get that island feel and head into this wonderful movie known as I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
It's story time with Lance Knight, baby. You just reminded me of I think the first time that we worked together, there was a picture I took of you. We were eating lunch somewhere. It was probably like Panda Express or something, but I was sitting at a different table. And I took a picture of you, and you were wearing a Hawaiian shirt because I think you guys created like Hawaiian night or something that night. And you were like writing a list or something, and it was like, what? And I made this whole thing about it. You're wearing your Hawaiian shirt, and I just put like snowflakes coming down. I was like, what I want for Christmas. And it's funny because your style and you wearing Hawaiian shirts is what helped me create Slashers Paradise. It's your style. It's yeah. And I think it's literally that image of you with the glasses, the backwards hat, the Hawaiian shirt. Yeah. Eating panda and making a list. That is where it all came from. Yeah.
I don't know who I'm looking around for because I'm definitely by myself, but holy crap, Lance, you waited until I Still Know What You Did Last Summer to drop one of the most heartfelt nuggets on me. I'm like taken aback, man.
Danny's getting emotional.
Yeah. What else is new? Dude, okay. Holy moly.
Okay, so I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Let's see. A slasher in a paradise. It's almost like this movie was made for us, but doesn't quite deliver as we travel from the harbors of maybe North Carolina to the Bahamas for a slasher revenge story.
Just a good old fashioned right off the bat. Let's bring back as many of our original cast members that we can via survival, one, and two, they would agree to do the movie. Just like you said, Lance, a good old fashioned revenge film. And I honestly do not think that, especially in the slasher genre, things need to be given too much thought. Don't overthink them. I'm just serious. I think if you keep it simple, stupid, you will deliver. It's fun. It's exciting. You got all the pieces together. Let's see if we can strike gold again or hit another home run to go back to back. And I guess we'll learn in the breakdown how they did. But yeah, right off the bat, I do not know if this movie is going to stand the test of time. Oh wait, it actually didn't. Yes, it didn't deliver, but all the pieces were nice.
Yeah, I will say right off the bat, I don't hate the movie. there's a lot of great pieces to this. The setting throws you off immediately. But we're going to get to that. We got a lot of business to take care of here in Slashers Paradise. If you listen to the show before, we do have a couple chunks of business about this episode, but we gotta tell everyone watching and listening that we just come out with a video. It's our first ever Dead trailer react video. Danny joined me for that one. I'll do plenty more, and who knows if I have somebody else on there or not, but Danny and I did one for The Exorcist Believer. People seem to enjoy that. So go watch that. If you haven't seen it already, check us out on there. Good little breakdown of the trailer. That was a lot of fun. Looks interesting. Pretty interesting.
Right. Just exactly, man. I am so thankful that we were able to do that. So much fun. I had a great time, obviously, covering a trailer of a franchise, a return to a franchise that, I mean, if Halloween is number one, this one is running right parallel to it as far as like ones that are so dear to me. So it was an honor to do that and talk about it. And yes, lots of fun. If I could, this has been bugging me a little bit. I may have jumped the gun on talking about what the third installment is. It is a trilogy. And I think I was just kind of projecting out into the ether, hoping that the third one had already had a name to it. So filmmakers, if you're listening, I have given you the keys to the Cadillac. So go ahead and just call it The Exorcist Redeemer and do yourself a favor and make me look like a prophet.
Perfect. And Danny, we trust. Also, we have a blog. So head to deadcandy.com. Check out the blog. We'll have a few new posts. I'm working on a few. Danny's working on a few. We've got some other writers in there joining soon. So please check that out. As far as this episode goes, let's get into it. We have, as you already heard, you have the slash word of the night. Danny, tell them how slash word works really quick.
Thank you. Yes, slash word for Slashers Paradise is a very fun game. It is the Slashers Paradise take on the very popular game Pathword, where when you, the listener, hear the slash word said throughout the episode, have fun, enjoy, and take a drink. It is a drinking game, so go ahead and get your favorite beverage of choice. Could be alcoholic or not. Doesn't have to be alcoholic, but sometimes when the movie is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, you might want some alcohol in the drink. So that is slash word. Play along, have fun, and cheers.
Yes, and the word has already been played. We don't know what it is. Speaking of drinks of the alcoholic persuasion on this episode, of course, we have our Pina Colada, which is Danny's breakdown of the film. A quick synopsis as only Danny can tell it. So, Danny, go ahead with your Pina Colada.
Pina Colada for I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Revenge. The Fisherman is back. And so is Julie. And so is Ray. And now a few other characters were introduced who have now think it's time to move on with their lives and maybe wrestle with the past in the best way possible, a lovely resort. But as we all know, anytime you want to put the past away, the past is not at rest, as Randy said. And Lord and behold, it is time once again for the Fisherman to exact his revenge. Will Julie and Ray survive this time? Will anybody else survive? Have we even survived this movie up until now? We'll find out. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Perfect. Thank you. Quick breakdown of the movie. The movie was released on November 13th, 1998. 1 year after the original. The budget was $24 million. The box office was $40 million. Quite a huge drop off from our box office last year. That's a major drop off, actually. Movie is written by Trey Calloway. Kevin Williamson is gone. He is way too busy for this film, unfortunately. Did not want to take part in this one. So we're out. The film stars yet again Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr. Danny's excited.
Sorry,
about that,
I was basking in the Jennifer Love Hewitt glory because yes, we established she is and always will be a crush.
Yeah, please listen to our last episode and hear us go on and on about that. Joining us for this film, this sequel, Mekhi Phifer, Brandy debuting, Brandy the music star. Matthew Settle, Muse Watson is back. Spoiler. John Hawkes, who I just wanted to mention because I like him a lot, even though he's only in the film for like 2 or 3 minutes. But
He rocks. That guy is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Bill Cobbs and Jennifer Esposito, who was a big thing back then, apparently. So we'll get into that. Her character breakdown, by the way, the first fun fact of the night. And if you want to add more to the drinking game, every time I announce a fun fact you can drink. Apparently, the character breakdown was for Nancy looks just like Esposito. like it was her role no matter what. So that's the first fun fact of the night.
Hey man, being an actor, sometimes they're like, oh, I think you would really be perfect for this role. And then you're like, okay, so what are you kind of looking for? In this role, we're just kind of looking for somebody who's a little, meat on the bones, has a beard, is named Danny Gonzalez, just we'll play with it. I'm like, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jennifer had this role from the beginning. So great. Thanks, guys. So
congratulations.
Yeah. I actually love them. We're not going to break down every scene, of course, but I do love the way that this movie starts off in a church, the dark scene, and Jennifer Love Hewitt's walking down, and there's Julie, obviously. I think anything filmed in a church is obviously going to bring a lot to it, especially if you like the church a certain way. I mean, we just watched the Exorcist trailer. We did a whole thing on that, and we talked about that already. But if you film a church appropriately, and you know what? Sometimes it's the epic church like we have in this film, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And then sometimes it's those small rural churches that can kind of get you as well. The small town churches, I think, are there's a little creep factor to those sometimes as well. Yeah. So we start off in that, and I was like, okay, what is this movie? I remember watching this going like, okay. Like still capturing like the look of it, the blue, look of everything. Got some candle lights. Kind of digging that. Julie goes to the confessional. I'm so in, dude. Like I'm into this movie.
I mean, for real though, like, well done, sir. Thank you for setting a beautiful table for us. And I do think that was intentional. They said for all the shit that this movie did not do well. One of the things that they did pretty well was definitely let you know that they're at least going to try and make a new movie-ish. So as soon as the confessional scene is over, bright lights, a lot of like vibrant colors, not really a fishing town environment. Obviously Julie is away at college, and we do get eventually a shot of Ray in the old town and stuff. But besides that, it feels very sunny. Is that weird? Is that okay to say? It just felt like very and I get it. You're going to the island, and it's going to be a resort, and you're escaping your fears and wasting away in Margaritaville, whatever. What I see is right away, it doesn't feel like a dreary fish town.
Yeah. And that's the big thing that's kind of missing right off the bat. And again, you set us up with such a great mood, and then you go and crash out in the college area, and we're like, okay, you're right. It's very sunny. It's very Scream 2, but there's just no threat yet because nothing's been set up yet. All we know is that Julie's got trauma. So, okay. I guess.
Let's go ahead and just let's set our own, table within the movie. And we're going to start off with a nice course of trauma. And, we really didn't want to learn our lesson, even though I just praised this film for trying to be different. It really didn't want to learn its lesson about being compared to Scream so much. Heck, Kevin Williamson's not involved. I mean, not his characters, but, the first film he made that sure, wrote that sure. But you did not have to go straight into Scream 2, and by and large, right off the bat is our favorite thing to say. Right off the bat, give me a broke man's Jerry O'Connell as well. We have a boyfriend interest at college that is basically Jerry O'Connell in Scream 2. It's like, I'm not even going to try anymore.
Well, I think Kevin Williamson did have an idea for this film, and it was Julie and Ray go to college, basically. So it's just kind of in the air, I guess. It's just what he's writing at that moment. He was so busy again with he had just done Scream 2. Dawson's Creek was huge at this time. I think he took on another huge project at this time. It wasn't even a horror film.
The Faculty.
The Faculty he did, and yet another project on top of that. So he is just everywhere. Yeah. So wasn't able to do this, but that was his idea, that this was going to be a college horror film, college slasher revenge story, which is totally fine. Like we said, we end up in the Bahamas, and man, so much is done well in the Bahamas once we're there, I do believe. If it was done in a fisher town, if it was done in a quiet town, which relates to so many more people than the Bahamas do, I'm sorry. This movie might have been a lot better than what we got. I don't hate the film, and we're going to get back to that because we're going to probably end up debating that part. But yeah, so Julie's in college. Ray is still working Fishtown. I guess he's still home, right? I mean,
yeah, he's still back home, and he has definitely gone headfirst into becoming a fisherman and staying as a fisherman. Apparently it puts food on the table. It's a way of life. And we're introduced to his, I guess, shipmate, boatmate, first mate, John Hawkes. Right. Yeah. Played by John Hawkes. Yeah. Dave. Right. And some people do say, Lance, that this is a prequel to A Perfect Storm. So nobody says that.
Can we just go ahead and I was going to say that. Absolutely. That's why he's on my notes. I love this man so much, and I love that character from A Perfect Storm. So yes, he's just an older version of himself in this movie.
I wish it was nighttime so I could say goodnight, Irene. Aww.
He's so sweet.
Perfect Storm, man. Definitely a terrifying movie. We'll get into that.
Talk about
maybe
that instead.
I'm down. I could get into it. No. What I do want to say is my timer, my internal timer, my Danny is maybe still got a thing for Jennifer Love Hewitt timer. Again, apologies to my beautiful wife. But 2 minutes in, we get the Jennifer Love Hewitt eye squint. 2 minutes into the film, she does it. I mean, it's perfect. It's a side close up, and she's profile. She's talking to the priest in the confessional, and it's there. And I'm doing it right now for those of you listening, and I hope that it's reading through the microphone. And if it's not, you just got to be there. But it's so her and hers alone. Nev has a little bit of situation. Yes, we're not done making Scream comparisons. But what I will say about getting back to Ray is I'm going to leave the fun facts up to you. And I hope you do hit one about Freddie Prinze Jr. and how he feels about this film. But I want to talk solely about the fact that when you're dealing with a sequel, you can take less time introducing certain things or getting to the action, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. Those of us who are watching the sequel, a filmmaker is presuming that you have seen the original, right? So you could take less time getting to like an attack or a murder, or you could even start off with it, right? So what I want to say though, and God bless Freddie Prinze Jr. as a man and as a person, but there is a scene in here where he gets out of a truck that is conveniently, he gets out of his truck. He's driving with John Hawkes. He's driving with Dave, rather. So Ray's driving with Dave, gets out of the truck because there is a car that is conveniently just in the road, and blah, blah, blah. This happens, that. Dave's dead. Big whoop. I'm so sorry. He's gone. And Ray starts getting chased by what is presumed to be the killer, but is just somebody who gets in his truck, his own truck, and chases him down after killing Dave. And I swear, Lance, I think at this point, maybe he was looking into the future and he was auditioning to be Shaggy instead of Fred in Scooby-Doo because he's running away from this truck and his hands are flailing all over the place. I have never seen. I'm sorry, Freddie. You're the man. I know you're a wrestling fan and you're awesome and I appreciate you, man. But oh my God, that took me way out. I could not take it because he's running all over the place. It's comical, folks. I promise. With all that I have and all that I know about horror films, Lance is literally going to bite his finger off because he cannot take what I'm doing right now. But it is so true. It is one of the most comical chase scenes you'll ever see. That's all.
Can you just do the voice again? You just did it.
Oh, the truck and it's about to get me.
Why was that the choice right now, Danny?
I don't know, man.
We're drinking. No, I didn't capture that. I don't know. That didn't come across to me. That didn't bother me at all. Gee.
Well, when you go back and watch it, you'll see what I mean.
I am going to go back and watch it just for that. I just want to hear that. I'm actually going to play your audio over that scene now. Yeah, maybe I'll post that later too.
I think I just gave you a video to post. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. What I'll say about Ray and Julie right off the bat. Why is that our thing tonight? I don't understand. I don't
know, but maybe we should get a bat. Should we get a bat?
Right off the hook, Julie and Ray, I feel like as actors, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. seem to have a lot more confidence in themselves. The way that Jennifer Love Hewitt, Julie, carries herself, she's got more of a confidence. She's got quite a different glow to her. I understand that there's a point to that. It's supposed to be that way. But even later in the film, when things are starting to kind of fall apart, she just has a different glow about her. She's very confident showing off her body by this point. What a difference, I guess, a year or two makes in somebody's career. But I don't know. I buy into them a little bit more in this film to start off, especially Freddie Prinze Jr., who I think kind of struggled in the first one with his. What are you talking about?
Where did it go? I have
a nose
and it's on my face. He doesn't have a lisp. I don't know why I did that.
You're doing Shelley right now. He just went into Shelley.
To your point, that's a real thing. It's a real thing when an actor can get into a second take, so to speak, right? They have a second go at it. Maybe they're a little bit more used to the ins and outs of what movie set and filmmaking and blah, 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 whatever. I totally can see it in Jennifer Love Hewitt. She definitely is going to start to set herself on a different path. This is probably going to be, and if you were going to mention this is definitely her last horror film. She did not want to be typecast and go the Jamie Lee Curtis route, right. Who eventually did jump out of horror movies, get very well known, and then eventually come back and won an Oscar. So I guess that's not so bad. But to this point, it's obvious that Jennifer Love Hewitt is ready to take that next step, and she did great. She started doing some stuff after this where obviously outside of the horror movie realm and genre, we know that she could obviously knock this out of the park. She knows that she can do that as well. She can play an excellent final girl, and she's just ready to move on. But as far as acting beginners, intermediates, and advanced are considered, this is, you mentioned it, starring, or at least co-starring, Brandy in her film debut. What is up with very, at least well-known stars or much appreciated actors of this generation, that generation, getting their start in horror movies? We have seen this trend before. you know, Josh Hartnett, Johnny Depp. The list goes on, obviously. And Brandy, brand new, is Brandy new.
Brandy new.
Almost
I like it.
Brandy new. Shows off her acting capabilities. A phenomenally trained actor. Obviously a wonderful singer, just overall amazing performer, as we would later go on to see. So I am not like I'm gonna sit here and tell everyone that I'm a huge Brandy fan, but I can recognize Brandy's work. So yeah, kudos to Brandy for this film, for starting it off in the horror movie genre, which is always cool.
Great way to lead into the fun fact about Brandy in this. She actually won this role. The cast was for a white girl, and Brandy did so amazing in her audition that they said, no, we need her. We want her 100%. So she changed that. Who knows what else that led to? So that's awesome. And she did great. Like, she is very likable.
Yeah, I'd say so.
There's a theme to this movie. There's like a underlining theme. Like, you caught the father thing in the first one. Like, everyone has a weird like relationship with their parents or their dad. There seems to be something about like going with your gut in this one, and like maybe don't always listen to your friend. Always go with your gut first. And Brandy gives some bad advice later, in this. Her boyfriend, who I know you're about to go off on, Mekhi Phifer's character, who Danny is just infatuated with, Tyrell. He gives a lot of bad advice. He has one motivation in this film, and that is to have sex. I mean, that is just it.
When we make good love, somebody knocking the boots. He definitely wants to knock the boots, Brandy's boots, more specifically.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do. Hey,
that's all. That's all he wants to do.
Okay, I'm not going to talk a bunch of shit about a guy who's in college and is with his girlfriend, and they're having a romantic getaway. Nobody gets these. I sure as hell didn't get these opportunities for a full getaway. I know how I was when we went to spring break in South Padre Island, and that will remain a secret. We will not be talking about those days, but what we will talk about is that I get it.
Yeah.
It's fine to be what you are sometimes. Now, looking at it through modern lenses, some of that behavior definitely does not age well. It is very aggressive. It is almost, I don't enjoy particularly when a male character in a movie is trying to make a point and is trying to explain to how he feels is a dumb girl, and you better listen to me because now I'm going to start screaming so it's the truth.
Okay.
It just feels icky to me. So like, he did a lot of that in the movie. It was just like, yo, shut the door, Julie. You better listen to me because this, and I'm telling you the truth, and I'm screaming now. So it just kind of like rubbed me the wrong way now looking at it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I think you kind of mentioned this to me, how much you did not care for him. And I looked at him as a whole and I went like, there's nothing too terrible, but I know exactly what you're talking about when he does start kind of yelling at Julie as if he knows it all, and just kind of puts Julie in this like corner of like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've gone through it, so maybe shut up. But it's the same thing I didn't like about Barry Ryan Phillippe in the original Hell. He puts his hands on Julie at one point. Yeah,
so both characters at least continue that stupid pattern and that whatever tradition. They continue that as being like this like overly aggressive male character that is just like very, very masculine, and in the sense just kind of a victim of their own stupidity in the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So Mekhi Phifer played the character the best way he knew how. Overall, just really kind of aggressive behavior, but he's playing the character, so that's all I'll say.
Yeah. We got to set up the story a little bit. So Julie and what is Brandy's name in this? Carla.
Oh,
Carla. Good friends, roommates in college. Mekhi Phifer's character, Tyrell Martin, is obviously Brandy's boyfriend. And then we have another character named Will. And that's all I'm going to call him right now because we got him. Yeah. We'll get back to Will's name.
We'll call Will Brokeman's Jerry O'Connell right now, which is hilarious when you think about it.
So that's our core group. Ray is on the outside back home. And so okay, we get the phone call.
Oh no. You got to. Oh, you were gonna go there. I was just gonna say if we're gonna be mentioning amazing cast members in this movie. We're gonna wait. We'll wait.
We gotta get there. We gotta get there.
We gotta get there.
That's B cast, and yeah,
it's gonna be awesome, folks.
All right, so we get the phone call. We get the phone call from the radio station, and so Carla answers that, right? So it's the radio station's answering or calling, and who calls? What radio station calls for trivia? I've never been called for that. I mean,
right from the beginning, you have a situation where red flag. No radio station ever calls you to give tickets away.
No.
Lance, did you ever call into the radio station and request a song?
Yeah, I did a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh man, this is the weirdest thing. I used to do it. We all used to do it. It was this B104, and it was the one that would play like all the songs that we were all listening to anyway. And that's what you would call, on the midnight hour. It's B104. Right. We're playing the hits, right? And that's where you'd be like, I'd like to make a request. All right, who is this? No, it's just coming from Secret Admirer. And then you send a shout out to your girls. You're like, all right, this is going out to Caitlin from your secret admirer. This is Usher my way because your secret admirer is doing it his way or whatever. And I loved calling to the radio station to request songs, but I would never get through. The point I'm trying to make here is that it's not easy to just call and talk to a radio DJ. Maybe it's easier nowadays. It just wasn't easy. It sure as hell wasn't easy back then.
I can tell you from experience, from my parents' experience, actually, we lived at this really cool house for most of my childhood. And for some reason, my mom had a direct line to the radio station and won like every freaking contest ever. Concert tickets. Okay, that's the low end of what we got. We got amusement park tickets, a trip to Hawaii.
What?
4 hotel, everything included, food, all
and
that.
And it was real?
Trip for 2 to Paris for an entire week, all paid for. Yeah, tours, everything was paid for. Yeah. We moved.
You're kidding,
and
dude.
my mom never ever won
kidding.
another competition or a contest on the radio station. So yeah, cheers to Carol out there.
Let's go, Mama Night. That's how you do it. That rocks, dude. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Really cool.
You went to Paris and you went to Hawaii?
I did not. I went to Hawaii, but my parents took the Paris trip because it was for 2. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Anyway, no radio station will call you ever for a contest. That was never a thing. New age kids, that was not a thing. I know we're educating a lot of the time here, so that was never a thing. But they get the call. And they are asked to answer a question to win a trip to the Bahamas for 4. Danny, what was the question?
If you can tell me what the capital of Brazil is, you win a trip for 4 to the Bahamas. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Do you have a guess? Yeah. Is it Rio de Janeiro? It is not.
Not.
It is.
It was
not the answer.
It was. Till 1960. Till 1960. Yeah, that was a kind of a weird. Like, of all the trivia that they could have used for this film, I was like, really? Like, it kind of was the answer at one time, but the capital did change.
Right. So it's like when people say, "What's the capital of Louisiana? Is it New Orleans or New Orleans?"
It's kind of like that, but not. No.
Oh, it's Baton Rouge, right?
Okay.
No, that's my favorite joke to do. I love doing that joke. It's my favorite because you hear some and they're like, "Oh, it's New Orleans." Ah, I thought it was Baton Rouge. You stupid geography major.
Just don't call it
Yes.
NOLA, whatever you do.
I won't. I promise. So, yeah, little fishy. If there was anybody who was at least a little savvy to what the actual capital was, they would have been like, "All right, this is already bullshit." I have a hard time believing that on the account that it's bullshit, right?
Right.
So, if anyone knew anything about the capital of Brazil, and you're watching this movie, already you're like, okay, but this isn't true. I guess I'll just keep watching. You know?
Yeah.
So
you're now in the killer's plot already, so that's great.
Yeah, folded. Yeah, uncovered. So much for the guise of secrecy. But yeah, enough though to go over a lot of people's heads. So
yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah. Okay. So that sets us up, right? So we've got 4 tickets, and we know 3 of our characters are going for sure. Of course, Carla, who won the tickets, she's gonna invite her boyfriend. She's gonna invite Julie after all, and Julie gets to invite the 4th. And the 4th is the first choice was Ray, and Ray unfortunately hit some traffic on the way there, and is not going to be there for. Again, he said no, and then he was driving to surprise her and caught some traffic. Enter Will, the new Jerry O'Connell, and I guess he'd be kind of Johnny Galecki from the first one because he's got a little crush on Julie, obviously.
Oh, he's got a hella crush on Julie, that's for sure. It's not that hard if you're Will to go ahead and just swoop in and take Julie. Because let me just say something, okay?
Please.
I am going to talk a bunch of shit about Ray. not Freddie Prinze Jr., Ray. What in the world is your problem? You have got the tickets to the big show. Dave, God rest, has to convince you to wake up, leave these bullshit fish in this boat for a hot second, and go enjoy a time in paradise with your smoke show of a girlfriend who's Jennifer Love Hewitt. Okay, Julie. But everyone else in this movie has eyes, I presume. They can see what the heck is going on. I just don't understand. Ray, you tried so hard from the original to get into the good graces of Julie. You guys are, hell, the last time we heard you all before this movie started, Julie was talking about you thrashing her and doing all sorts of things. So like we were all left in a very envious situation as it pertains to Ray and Julie. So what ends up happening? I just can't leave these fish. It's the beginning of the season. Shut the hell up. Shut up.
Why are you making him Shelly? I just want to know right now, why is he becoming Shelly throughout this episode?
Lance, you know 2 things about me. 1, I'm not going to talk a bunch of shit. And 2, I can do some pretty good voices. This is Shelly. Oh, they all went skinny dipping, and I'm not that skinny. This is Ray. What? Oh shit, they do sound kind of similar.
There it is. There it is.
Okay. All that aside, I think you get my point here, Lance. That is bullshit. Wake up, son. Wake up.
Yeah.
You have the ticket.
Not only that, but he's making up an excuse not to go. He's literally saying, "Oh, we got a big run to go." And Dave's like, "The fuck are you talking about? We don't have a run. We're not doing anything. Like, go get your girl. What is wrong with you?" And Ray's like, "Oh, this is how serious I'm taking it." He busts out his 1 carat ring.
Damn, called out. Hey, he's a fisherman. He's got a humble incoming or
A carrot is
income.
pretty good. And I'm just saying a carrot is a pretty good ring. Carrot? A full carrot.
It shows you how little I know about jewelry because I just am paying attention to infomercials where they're like, and this commemorative 24 karat gold. So I was always assuming that the higher the number.
But when it comes to
true?
a diamond ring is like a 0.7 is pretty good, a 0.8, a 0.9. 1 carat is going to be more expensive for a diamond.
I'm going to turn this back around. When the hell did you become Uncut Gems over there and have all this like knowledge of, I don't know. Okay, Lance. Not bad, sir.
I do this weird thing. I do crash learning. So when I was going to propose to my now wife, I did crash learning on diamond rings and learned about diamonds for a couple weeks while I picked.
Hey, man, ring. I'm impressed.
I
think I got a carrot for Caitlin. It at least looked like a carrot. Hey man, that was very impressive. Well, whew, nice. Okay, so back to it. Ray then, according to you and Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems, has a very impressive looking ring that shows Dave, hey, I'm serious about this actually. Okay, but we're not seeing that. You're doing everything that is against that. So don't, as they say, blow me, show me. So he does, right? He takes off and he tries to join the party, but doesn't go too well, as we already talked about. So Will jumps in, takes the spot essentially, and those four head off to the island, and Ray is basically playing for the rest of the movie The Amazing Race, just trying to get to the island because he's been attacked and he survived. So yeah, it's definitely a choice. I think, you know what I think happened, Lance? What I think happened is that the filmmaker said Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to have his mouth open and he's going to be out of breath already. We might as well be putting him in a situation where he's trying to play catch up and he's racing against time because it'll feel very authentic. I'm just saying, maybe. I don't know.
I see. They adapted to the acting ability of Freddie Prinze Jr. at this time. The fun fact that you mentioned, since we're here on it right now, Freddie Prinze Jr. has never seen this film because of the terrible reviews that came out about it very quickly. So this is one of his films that he's never seen.
It's a bummer, dude.
That's such a bummer.
It is a bummer because, again, you and I, we try our best, and I think we do pretty good backing each other up and trying to put out some beautiful art that we feel good about and love. And sometimes you just know that wasn't a great experience, and I do feel bad for Freddie Prinze Jr. to have to say, you know what? I'm not going to watch that shit ever. I think he would enjoy listening to this podcast while watching it, though, because he'll hear the wacky noise that I made for him in the car chase scene. For all we know, you know what? Actually, for all we know, that may have been like a very specific direction that they gave him for that car chase scene. I don't even think about that part. All right, go ahead. You're going to be running away from this truck, and we need you to flail your arms all over the place. And you're an actor. You take direction, right? Maybe. I don't know. All I'm saying is I do agree. Huge bummer. I definitely feel for him in that regard.
Right. All right. So we are set up. We are now headed to the Bahamas. We've got our group of 4, and Ray is on the chase, chasing his dream of finding Julie after being attacked and seeing his friend die. So we enter the Bahamas. We've got a whole new cast of characters. The Bahamas are looking a little empty, though, but the resort is ready for Julie and friends, and we meet. It's time, Danny.
Oh, I knew it.
An uncredited actor in this film named Jack Black.
That is correct. friends, if Jack Black has then been added to the cast list on your IMDb or whatever, it has definitely been post this movie, way post this movie, because Jack Black is an uncredited cameo or guest star, as Lance just said. And holy shit, this is a performance. I think that's putting it as mildly as possible. I wrote in my notes and I talked to a really good friend of mine who, and I'm going to be paraphrasing at this point, easily the most offensive and the best part of this movie is Jack Black.
The best part of this movie. How dare you? I can't.
The best part of this movie is how ridiculous Jack Black is. Is this what we're going to go at it now? Dang it. Okay. The best part of this movie is how unreal Jack Black is as this island. What is he, like a busser? He's a maintenance worker for the resort, I guess.
A liaison? I don't know.
Sure. Concierge, perhaps, right?
Sure.
Right. For the resort, he's dressed in his nice little tiki Hawaiian shirt or island shirt. It's tucked into some cargo shorts right off the bat, fan, and sporting dreadlocks. I am not joking. It is so ridiculous. At least, oh, thank God, at least he didn't come out and start saying anything in like a faux reggae Jamaican accent. That it's there's hints of island talk, but for the most part, he's Jack Black and he's doing his thing, right?
He's a pothead. So like the first thing he is like, oh, he does this shit to Julie and crew as they're getting off the boat, or
so the universal hand gesture of
yes, thank you.
Want to smoke the marijuana? Yeah,
you guys need some weed, some marijuana. So that is his thing. Is he's like a pothead and he's got dreads. And Danny straight up asked me to put dreads on for the promo of this episode, and I said no. By the way, audio listeners, we do these incredible promos you all should watch on our YouTube and Facebook page. So go check those out.
Lance. Wow, sir. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Yes, I did. And do you want to know why, folks? Because Jack Black's character is the most offensive and the best part about this movie. Would you like me to elaborate?
Yes, please elaborate how Jack Black's offensive character is the best part of this movie.
No. His character is offensive, but it is so ridiculous. It's also funny. It's kind of like a weird catch-22. When I'm watching it originally, I obviously, because they made that choice as if like, this is a choice we can make. Let's put Jack Black in dreads, right? So when I'm watching it, I'm like, that's funny. Do you know how many people I saw that were not supposed to be sporting dreads would get dreads in their hair? It's kind of like that Monica scene in Friends where she has the dreads and stuff. They're like, ugh, no, not a good look. But it's Jack Black. So like some of the things that he's doing are just like, you could not bridle that horse. He is a star. He is unique. He was going to do his thing. And there are some things that he does just like imagine he does not have dreadlocks. Okay. Imagine that it's just normal hair that he would otherwise be sporting. There's just little things like when he scares somebody inadvertently and he's like, I'm thinking you and me go party. It's just like, it's Jack Black. He does this thing where he's walking away. The fisherman catches up to, which is basically, he's like a boat hand, the guy that I'm talking about. And he's like, nah, man, I do not want to take the boat to the mainland and party with you. I want to, tie this up and then I'm going to bed. Okay. Jack Black's like, all right, you're missing out, brother. Takes off, right? The dude gets killed. Jack Black kind of hears a little bit of what's going on, turns around, looks back. There is nothing he could see, and he just kind of like takes a drag of his joint and just goes, "No."
Oh my God.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid, but he does it, and it's just one of the little things that he does throughout. At one point, he like swims up to Carla and Tyrell, who are trying to get busy in the hot tub, and he's definitely invading on their space and their privacy. And he's like, "Dude, Tyrell gets pissed, and he's like, 'Hey, man, it's good.' And he's just floating backwards in the pool. And I'm like, I've done that before. Oh my God. Lance, we got to it. We got to the reason that I like this character. He's me.
Oh no, Danny, you're not.
No, he's not me.
identifying-
He's not me.
No,
No, he's not
You're
me.
not-
He's
we're
not
not
me.
doing this.
What he is still funny in moments. It's just like it's not the best look. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. It was never okay, but there were a lot of these characters. This was like, this is the late 90s, so a lot of MTV era, a lot of Spring Break era, a lot of influence from hip hop at this point. I want to say Pretty Fly for a White Guy was coming out pretty soon. A lot of that kind of influence was going around. So at the time, again, might have been considered okay, but there's a reason that Jack Black is uncredited in this, and he is not just a cameo. He has got a good chunk of screen time. He's got quite a not a lot of scenes, but he's got a few scenes in there. This isn't just a cameo. So the fact that he's uncredited, I'm curious what the story is. I couldn't find it, so I don't know. And he had been around. He had done Airborne. What's that? That's the name of the movie.
Oh yeah, Lance.
Yeah, I.
My name is Augie Augusta, and I like to sleep, and I like Nintendo. I like Nintendo. Yes. Come on,
Yeah.
Lance.
Yeah,
Airborne is
so he'd been around. That was like mid 90s. So he'd been around. He'd been doing movies and stuff like that. So I don't know. This is a weird one. Why this is uncredited, and if it was his choice or a studio's choice or what? Because there's a lot of Jack Black in this. Moving on, though, we meet Nancy in the bar. That is Jennifer Esposito's character, who was just handpicked. Apparently, they wrote this character for her. She's not necessarily a local, but she's obviously living on the islands, and she's the bartender there. She's kind of got that edgy, cool thing going on. Doesn't tell too much of her stories. A little bit of mystery to her, but another little sexy thing on the island to look at, I guess. Good way to put it.
Nice little sexy island local, right? Also, folks, y'all should know that these four are at this resort pretty much alone besides the hotel staff, because it is the off season, because hurricane season is about to start. So they're a little like, I guess this is weird, inconvenient, I suppose, but whatever. Fine. They're still taking their bookings. I know what that feels like. I did go we did an Airbnb at Palm Springs during their off season, and I was like, what does that mean? Because we were at the cusp of summer, and Palm Springs in the summer, I think, is like, it's hell. Yeah, because we were burning. So I guess this place also has an off season, and the way we learned this is from a very ominous, very creepy, a horror movie royalty character or actor. Jeffrey Combs plays the hotel manager, Mr. Brooks, and he right off the bat is annoyed that they're there, is pissed off about having to work, but is Jeffrey Combs, right? He's the reanimator. He's doing his thing, and it's a nice, cool thing about just like, just not just him. You got just John Hawkes and Mark Boone Jr., just like random characters who are just like in everything in this movie. Even Red West, who plays Red in Roadhouse. So just like all over the place. It's just kind of, I wouldn't say star-studded, but it's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you talked about creepy, and it's this scene of him checking them in, and he's got this weird like tooth thing that he's doing. It's fourth.
Well,
it's Fourth of July.
that's him. That's what he does.
Yeah, but it's just like very pronounced because he's got no facial hair. He's very like clean shaven and clean cut in this, but it's 4th of July weekend. It's off season. Off season. You know what I mean? Like
That's pretty good, Lance.
He's got some creep. So again, I think we're trying to sell you on a who done it because you know, we killed the killer in the first one, we think maybe ish. So we haven't heard from him yet. We're pretty far in the movie now. We haven't heard from the original killer, but we did see the fisherman. So what is going on exactly? So again, we're meeting the island staff, and slowly but surely they're going to start getting killed off, which is way more gory, way more blood than the first film. 100%. Some really cool gore too.
Oh yeah. The violence is turned up tremendously, like up to 11 compared to the first film. Obviously, if you watch it and you're like, oh, I've seen worse. Yeah, probably. But there are a lot of cool moments, kills, some graphic kills, especially when he kills that housekeeper out of nowhere. I also don't like certain things that, okay. Do you know, like when the character in the horror movie finds a body because it ended up happening to be located in something that they were going to run into, right? Someone's going to the restroom. They I don't know, go into the restroom. They open the curtain because they're going to take a shower. Boom, body, right? Somebody is going to go to the kitchen, open the fridge, boom, head, right? So these are things that like they would run into. I had a problem because there's a moment where they're trying to figure out stuff to do at the resort because it's raining. And Brandy's like, I'm not going to let a little rain and a little bullshit ruin my time. So she tries to get Julie to, let's go hit the gym. Let's go do some, cool things, amenities that the resort has. One of the things that she ends up doing or has Julie do is get into the tanning booth, right? Where the tanning bed, obviously terrifying. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it here in a little bit, but what I found kind of silly is by and large, nothing really has happened to make them question anything about their surroundings. Obviously, it's bad weather. Nobody's there. These are just coincidences at this time. Oh, and Julie's like screaming and saying that, she's seen dead things, but nothing's confirmed. They're trying to just, so little things have happened, but nothing confirmed. Okay. Brandy just like decides, I'm going to go look around the hotel laundry room for nothing. I just like, you had no purpose in being there. You just kind of go into the hotel laundry room, open the big laundry vat, and there you see the body of one of the housekeeper. It's just like, it didn't follow the line, so to speak, of like you running into a dead body because it was in something that you were going to encounter normally.
Right. It's just, there was no real flow to that. And I think that had a lot to do with the setting of like, well, we got these cool ideas we can kind of plug in here and there, but like we're stuck to this resort that we have to like why would you be in the laundry room? Why? I don't know. There was a lot of those moments. And again, I think the setting had so much to do with the faults of this movie. If you take that and Jack Black away from this, we might have a decent movie. Just saying.
Hey, look, I am not honestly going to sit here and say, Jack Black's character and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer is the hill I'm going to die on. No, it's ridiculous. Yes, please remove it. But Jack Black rocks. Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay.
When he's locked in, he's like a Colin Farrell. Where it's like sometimes you can see them really locked into a role and they're great, and then other times you can tell like I'm just gonna take the paycheck on this one and I'll be on screen, I guess. He's one of those to me.
Can I also talk about one more horror movie trope that really does bug me? This is just me personally as a, I guess, clean freak. All right.
Okay.
Showers. Showers happen in horror movies all the time, and they're steamy showers. Hey, now, all right, let's get going, right?
Okay.
Every time there's a steamy shower scene, they got to do the shot where the mirror is fogged up and the main character, whoever is taking the shower, goes to the mirror and wipes it down with their hand. That's going to leave streaks on your mirror. What are you doing? Oh my God. And they just wipe down as if like no care in the world. Okay. When that dries and you come back to the mirror and all these lines are on it, who's to blame? Huh? I cannot stay. It's just like it drives me up the wall. I'm like, just get a towel and wipe it down or open the door. No, got to wipe it. Bare hand wipe it. I know it's for the image of it, but it drives me up the wall. Streaks.
I'm just reminded of our holiday episode where we talked about cleaning the house for in-laws and our parents as well. So I'm flashing back, man. It's a big flashback episode, I think, for us.
A little bit, yeah.
That also
go ahead.
That reminds me of Carla's character doing she throws her sneakers in the dryer. I remember that being a big thing. Is like you'd wash your shoes back in the day, and the sneakers would pop out. I don't know if you ever had that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got in trouble for the same thing.
Okay, yeah, the bang bang, like it destroyed the dryer every single time, and the fact that they popped out in this movie, I was like, I never got the pop out. I never got that.
No, I
mean, destroyed the shoes too.
I guess that's what they do. Yes, because you're like, oh, let me wash my shoes, throw them in the dryer, buy shoes, right? Like and you hurt the dryer. However, fun fact, if ever you guys ever want to know about anything, if ever you are washing your pillows, a way to dry them and so that they don't dry lumpy, stick a tennis ball in there. And knowing is half the battle. What?
Are we really giving advice right now on how to dry pillows? I still know what you did last summer, Danny. You did the laundry.
I did it. And you know what? If you get expensive pillows, Lance, it's very important that you do take care of them because you'll never know. But here comes tie-in. You never know when that pillow will be needed to suffocate. Back to horror. We're here. Okay.
Caitlin, watch out.
No.
So another character we got to talk about really quick though is Bill Cobb's character, Estes, right? Yeah,
Estes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He kind of another intriguing character, kind of another one that we're supposed to kind of look at, but from the start, I was like, he can't be my killer. Like I like him way too much. But he kind of introduces a Haitian voodoo into the film. He, steals Julie's toothbrush, and it's not totally explained. It kind of says like, oh, it's to protect you, and like they discover his shrines in his room, and they're immediately pointing at him. What, Danny? You give me the look. You're giving me your Jennifer Love Hewitt right now. What is it?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I loved the concept of I always loved the concept of any sort of voodoo witchcraft incorporation, as long as it's rooted in truth and as long as it's not farcical. I love it. I am a huge it's very interesting to me, right? What I think this movie did that kind of made it cheap, right? It's just like, oh yes, to protect you. Just exactly. I'm just confirming your point. Honestly, he just is introducing the creepy or the unknown vibe of the voodoo and sort of witchcraft sort of idea, just to sow doubt into the movie goer, the movie watcher, and or in turn the rest of the group. And I'm like, it just kind of felt shoot like kind of just
it's
lazy.
It's another plug-in. It's broad strokes, and that's why I kind of said Haitian. There's like a very it's a different vibe than voodoo, but it's still, they call it voodoo. Some of the shrines have a lot of voodoo to it. But it's again a very broad stroke, so that because you are lazy and you're not doing the full research, you didn't have anybody on set probably that really knows their voodoo. You didn't have like a priestess out there, so it is a very broad strokes thing. It is a cool idea to kind of introduce, but if you're not going full board, like, you don't probably necessarily need to do it. But it does add some intrigue to his character. He's a cool actor. I would love to have seen more of him than Jack Black.
I'll tell you what the best line that Bill Cobb's delivers is the key line, the big line. Brasilia. So good. I love that line so much. It's so ridiculous. Why, folks? Because we are now here in the moment in the film where everybody is now let in on the big secret, and or if you knew geography, you were fine from the beginning. But for those of us, pointing at myself, that when I watched this movie, was like, yeah, that sounds fine. He is the mysterious character throughout the film. He's kind of just in the shadows for the most part, learns from Brandy, who's kind of touting that, yeah, we got it right. Rio, baby, is the right answer. He doesn't even miss a beat. He just yes answer, one of the best improv performances in the world. He just yes answers. He's like, very nice, very nice. He knows that it's bullshit. So maybe that's why he's like, okay, these kids are in trouble. Before I know what's going on, let me start to protect them. So that's his idea. And then later, stuff's happening. People are dead. Okay. Hotel manager's dead. Housekeeper's dead. People are dead. And they're starting to figure it out. And of course, before this moment, before we get this huge, Jennifer Love Hewitt is just looking at a globe that is random and in the lobby. And she sees that she's like, oh, yeah, Brasilia. And that is actually the capital of Brazil. And there he is. Estes right behind her and goes, Brasilia. Yes, I knew all along. Before all that, I do have to mention that the movie itself tries to say, all right, look, we're going to try and make a sequel here, right? And we're going to take it out of the fish town and we're going to get to Islands of Paradise, but there's just some non-negotiables. And one of those is we got to get a reprise of the "What are you waiting for, huh?" scene from the original. So they basically get Jennifer Love Hewitt drenched, soaked. They're trying to get on a boat and that doesn't work out. She's having these moments where it's like a close up and she's like, he's going to kill us one by one. And then when the Brasilia thing happens, now it's moving on. It's like, I'm going to show you everything that I know about all the dirty secrets. That's Esty saying. And then again, here it is, right? Sex sells. They put Jennifer Love Hewitt in this white shirt button down and just one button just right here in her chest area, and pour the rain, hurricane season, right? She's drenched. You could see through everything. And then she turns around and she's about to give the line you think it's going to be, what are you waiting for, huh? She turns around. She's like, oh, I'm right here. But it's still the same thing. Her arms are open and she kind of does it like a little jiggle. And then it happens and we're back to it. Okay, bets are off. They all know that they're being stalked by a killer. It's time to get busy and start to defend themselves. So we're off to the races, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah. And again, a lot of cool kills. We have the fisherman now hunting them down. And I just got to get to it now. Who were we talking about in the beginning? We put a little pin in this. Will. We haven't talked much about him. I did not like his character. He's extremely weak this entire time. I was like, maybe he's not a good actor. Maybe it was a choice up to this point. Turns out Will's last name is Benson. Will Benson.
Will Benson. Will
Will
Ben
son.
son. Will is Ben's
Son. Jesus Christ. What are we doing?
Lance. He has a reveal to Julie and says, guess what? It's Will, Ben's son, and looks at her and delivers that line as if she is the dumbest person to have not put that together. That's what's no, it's not something I'm just supposed to be putting together.
No, and the fact that his name is Will on top of it is just the cherry on top, because the original killer's name was Ben Willis. Will Benson. Oh my God. So in this reveal scene, I was watching this last time, again, I had the VHS. I watched this a couple of times and I thought I would not like this movie as much as I did. Still like it. But in his reveal scene, the whole movie, I'm like, he's such a weak character. I don't care for him. Don't like him. He's not a good guy. Like, to me, I'm like, what? He's just weak. When he does the turn and tells Julie this whole Will Ben's son thing and like spits in her face basically with it, I was like, is he the archetype for Roman for Scream 3? Like, was he the one thing that Scream took back from I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise? Because just the way he looks and his turn, it just reminded me so much of Roman, but Roman came much later.
Hey Lance, can I this might be better for a Scream revisit. So how about this as long-term storytelling for Slasher's Paradise? I have a huge thing. I have a huge thing I want to talk to you about in as regards to Scream 3. So we are going to put a pin in it. And let's just hope that we remember to get back to that, because it will completely derail us. There you go, folks. Catch us down the road.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully this October we'll get back into Scream. But so we've got the reveal. It's Will. Will's the killer. It's Ben's son.
But I've definitely seen the Fisherman in the same scene with Will. So could it be? Is it?
Could we have two killers?
Is it multiple killers? Well, there's no way, Lance, that Ben Willis is back. There's no way at all, because he got killed in the first one.
Never found the body.
Au contraire, mon frere. Not only is Will Ben's son, Ben Willis is back. And he's the killer. And he's still doing his very weirdly placed Southern drawl killer who fishes in on the East Coast. Easy, child. Let's just hush now. We're going to make sure everybody knows that this is a deeper story. And I had a whole family in the Bahamas, and I had 2 kids, and one of them died, and the other one's alive.
Yet again, the story unravels. You're like, wait, what? I had this simple horror film this whole time, and now this crazy backstory you got to throw at me all at once? Huh?
Unreal. It's like in 2 minutes, we get like 10 years worth of storytelling. I guess it's just, and by the way, just so you know, I had a whole family over here.
Yeah, like we weren't that interested in Ben in the first one. I don't really understand why this huge backstory is supposed to be this like moment. You know what I mean? It's like, was there a book that we're supposed to read in between the 2 films? Like the origin. I don't know. Like, it just all of a sudden there, and this kind of leads to, there's a scene, they're like in a graveyard, and Julie, like, they're like going up to these gravestones, right? And Julie sees like the gravestones. She says, "What's the date?" And then you like go into the gravestones, and it doesn't even say a date on it. It's just graffitied on. It's like Julie's whatever, and it's like gonna be her gravestone or whatever that they like he spray painted on it. It's like the most ridiculous thing, because it was like, obviously you inserted a shot and never told the editor and the cinematographer what it was supposed to look like, or the props team was like off that day or something happened, because there's no date on the tombstone that she's referencing.
It's such a weird like puzzle that they tried to put together at the end. I think they were like, that's all right. I have 75% of it. Here's my puzzle. It's done. No, you actually need to finish it. You need to finish the puzzle so that we can look at the picture. But, they were like, hey, we got Jennifer Love Hewitt. We got her in a white t-shirt. We got Freddie Prinze Jr. back, and Brandy's here. She's rocking it. Mekhi Phifer's here, who's rocking it. And let's just keep going, right? But for all the things that it does well, like there are some pretty good chase scenes, there are some pretty good kills, there's some pretty good suspense. There's a scene where Brandy is trying to tread on top of it. Ends up being kind of more funny to me anyway. But then at the end, Brandy's being chased and she's just like finds herself on a greenhouse. It's just like, it's okay. I think I could get away from the killer by just walking on this glass pane. And then it just like, she falls through because that's what happens, right? But the whole time before the Will Ben's son, I'm waiting for Nancy to turn around and be like, actually, to tell you the truth, I was the mistress or something. I was just like, I think they intended to kind of sow that sort of, I'm not sure who and what she's going to be, because the whole time she's running away, I'm like, she's going to have a turn. She's going to have a turn. And then she doesn't have a turn. And I'm like, a red herring the whole time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, again, she was just supposed to be a part of the movie, so it was like, I don't know, we'll craft something around her. She was supposed to be a survivor in this. Actually, Carla was supposed to get the hook in the gut. That whole scene, they actually shot that scene, I believe, and instead it turned into Nancy, and Nancy finds her demise, I guess. But she was supposed to be the survivor with Julie. That would have been so random, because
that completely random.
Nancy has no background, like nothing to add to the story, really.
Nothing. She doesn't know anything about, because apparently Ben Willis and his whole family live there and like were there.
Sure.
She doesn't know anything about it. The only person that really knew about it was Estes, and like, he ends up dying, of course, too. I will say that Tyrell, played by Mekhi Phifer, gets killed pretty gnarly. He gets fish hooked right to the either back of the head or front of the mouth, wherever. It's
through the throat, Danny.
Through the throat. Yes. That's right. I remember now. Remember what I said when we did the original? That's one of the, like, it always just kind of like gives me the heebie-jeebies when I think of like anything going around here in the neck area. Just first of all, leave me alone. And second of all, it's just, it hurts. It hurts so much to see that. But yeah, Tyrell gets it bad.
That scene I have a major issue with. I have to mention it because they're in the kitchen, they're running away from the killer, right? And Tyrell kind of gives the I'm horny, I haven't seen one fucking psycho killer or whatever, and then he gets it through the throat. The fisherman comes out apparently of the cooking hood, which no human can fit in. And I guess he was just hiding up there the whole time, waiting for them to conveniently go into the kitchen. And you don't see him come out of it. He's just like, the hook just comes. And then the next shot is him just standing on top of the stove. And he's like picking Tyrell up. I had such an issue watching that this time around. I was like, where did he come from? Like, how did y'all not, like, he was just standing on the stove the whole time. And y'all just didn't see the slicker or what? What's going on? I don't understand.
At least Lance the Slicker's back. I think this is the first time we actually reference the Slicker. I mean, like, it's not, we did the original and we talk about the image, and I don't think I talked about it as much as I really wanted to. I will say this movie will always have a place in slasher genre history because it at least gave us an iconic looking killer. The Slicker's back, and it still looks cool. It's still cool, at least.
Yeah,
I could say that.
Yeah. And we get more of it. And even Ben at the end is still wearing it. Because remember what we said about the first film? He just kind of like sheds it, and then he's just like fisherman in denim. You're like, that's not really scary. At least in this one, like, he just pulls the hood off and he's still wearing the Slicker. And that was a lot cooler. By the way, this entire movie, Ray is still on the chase. He finally makes it to the island. And like, okay, so watching this as a kid, I must have thought that Ray was just like this heroic dude, just trying to get there, trying to get to his girl, save the day. He knows what's going on. And then when he finally shows up, he's got it. He's got the gun that he pawned the 1 carat ring for, and
Which apparently, just so everybody knows, 1 carat is actually very impressive as far as diamond rings go.
apparently not, because he only got $300 for it. Thanks, Bobby from Sons of Anarchy. But
let's go, lads! Hell yeah!
But so he's like pointing the gun at Ben. There's a big like well, what is it called? The 3-way showdown.
The Mexican standoff.
Mexican standoff, right? So
I can say that. You can't. I'm joking. Oh, that's
if
so
Tarantino can say it, I can say it. Okay.
no, Mexican standoff, you could say. Absolutely.
But he's pointing the gun at Ben, and Ben says, "You won't pull it, boy." And he's supposed to be this heroic character that has been trying to get to the island for days or whatever, pulls the trigger after all of this, and the gun does not go off. Are you fucking kidding? It was the most, what is the point of your character I've ever seen?
Absolutely. And let me just say, I think that's just commentary on guys who think they're just a little bit better than they are. It's all a bunch of buildup, and then when it comes down to performance issues, it happens, man. You couldn't really pull the trigger. But I want to make a petition. If you'll have it, it only needs 1 signature, and it's yours. And anytime going forward that we need to do an impression of Ben Willis, I need it to be you. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. So go ahead and just sign that, and yeah.
Sign it. Okay, got it.
You're right, dude. It is so stupid. It is also so hilarious that Ray spends the entire movie doing the amazing race, gets there, and just gets essentially bitch slapped and just like, shut up. It's just like so funny. Speaking of funny sort of moments that I don't know if they were intentionally trying to be funny. Obviously, there's a showdown, and it comes down to, are the heroes or is the villain going to win? With now you have the Fisherman plus Ben's son, so 2 against 2 or 3 really. But in that scene, it's down to Julie, Ray, Ben's son, and I'm going to keep doing that, and Ben Willis, and Julie and Ray get out of it. They're the heroes. They triumph. Did you see the way Ben Willis landed in the mud? Is too funny.
Okay,
the way he dies, I can't handle it, man. He also looks at, when Ray shows up, he looks at him like, we meet again. It's like it's so weird.
It was so bizarre, that whole ending, because also the way that Ben dies is that Julie shoots him 6 times. Why did the gun not work for Ray? Like, Ray got it loaded. He traveled all the way there. How did it not go off for him? But then she's just like, bang, 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 bang.
Yes.
Bang.
So,
and I counted the bullets after Ray's gun did not go off. I'm like, why is it going off now? Anyway, 6 bullets.
Yeah. I mean, it's a revolver. I mean, those are the safest ones that don't jam up because they're practical, right? Like, they're not a lot of bells and whistles. It's just a revolver. But yeah, I can't. I love stuff like that when people just kind of. How about this? The Waterboy, when he's talking to Henry Winkler, he's talking to the coach, meaning the Waterboy's talking to him. He's like, "Coach, why are you afraid of Red?" He's like, to tell you the truth, Bobby, I fled. I came onto my office. I sat under my desk. I cried like a 10-year-old girl. And he gets a ball and he throws it, and it goes out the window, and it hits Colonel Sanders in the head, and he goes, "Meh," and he just falls. It's moments like that just always stay with me. So the way Ben just kind of kerplunks into the grave in the mud, I can't take it. It's just so funny. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. yeah, a lot of Adam Sandler references in this one too. So
Right?
oh,
What's
going
wrong with
on
me?
here? This is a bizarre
I don't know.
episode. We've had a lot of weird references in this one. A lot of flashbacks
Lot of
to
weird
old
ones.
episodes. Yeah, a couple impressions. By the way, feel free to drink every time there's impressions done on the show. Add to the total.
Hell yeah.
Danny, you got anything else to go? I mean,
I will say one last thing. I don't want you to be hard on young Lance who liked this movie, right? And you're not. You don't hate this movie. I know you have already said that. You don't hate this movie. But I do want to say there's still some 90s alternative rock that they sprinkle through here and there, you know. I mean, it's rock for the time because it's coming out in the 90s. But I do want to say, like, they try to get kind of like, you know, the feel, the moodiness of the original. And I was like, oh, Lance really liked this. That's cool.
honestly, I did like the first one, and watching it now as an adult, I was like, I'll give myself credit. Like I think I gave it 3 hooks because of nostalgia. This one, I remember as a kid being like, it's not as good. I don't like it. I don't like the Bahamas scene. And that's what I'm getting right now. Anyway, and my last point of this is, I didn't like this. Like, you could have gone to Sleepy Fishtown again and done this movie, and it would have been 10 times better, and I would have really enjoyed it, and you probably could have sparked a bigger franchise out of it, honestly, because small towns reside. We've talked about small towns how many times on Slasher's Paradise. It holds a place in our hearts. We can relate to it. We can be afraid of it. We understand the darkness of small towns. So taking it to the Bahamas, it was like jumping the shark. It was like we talked about during the Friday the 13th franchise. Like, why are we going to Manhattan, man? Just give us a good Friday the 13th movie. You know, like, why are we changing all these things and going so big when the formula didn't have to be changed? You know, so that's kind of how I felt about it. Watching it this time around, I was like, man, this movie, it had some stuff. It had something there, but it plugged in some weird stuff. The setting was bizarre. So it knocked it down quite a few pegs, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's all fair to say. I mean, I think sometimes we could be a little too like just harsh on our younger selves, like who enjoyed certain things for especially what they were. Like, hey, we were coming of age. This was a time in our lives where we're watching movies like this that are, you know, they're playing on a lot of our different emotions. But even then, I do agree with you that at the time I was like, okay, that's fine. I probably won't come back to this one, or I won't. It's not the hill I'm going to die on. Not, especially not for this one. Were there way better sequels? Absolutely. What I will say though is you're right. There's such a beauty, and I hope it's not us looking through those rose tinted glasses, for us looking back and being like, do we appreciate the vibes of something that wasn't given to us because it is different than what we ended up seeing and we didn't like that? I guess what I'm saying is, like, maybe at the time everyone was gung-ho about Manhattan. Maybe at the time it was like, yeah, this might be cool to take them out of their natural setting because everyone's like, yeah, because we've already seen the other thing. And then looking back, we can say, well, the formula worked, so why did you mess with it? And are we only saying that because we can now look at it through the lens that we're looking at now? All that to say, I think we grew up in an amazing era. We are, I always say, children of the golden age of video store rentals and movies. I love it so much. And I do think, as you said, there is a relatability to small towns that a lot of people, more so than not, who grew up watching a lot of these films and watching them in duplicate and triplicate can relate to. So you had a formula, like you said, that worked beautifully in the original. Double down, triple down on it, and at least you know what you have. Haddonfield did it, Camp Crystal Lake did it, and the list goes on, right? So you had an opportunity to introduce and instill an iconic slasher that is unique, that is going to be of that setting, and you biffed, you left. So
yeah, very well put. Danny, how many hooks do you give I Still Know What You Did Last Summer?
I still know that I did not enjoy this movie back then, and I still do not enjoy it as much today. So I still know what you did last summer for me gets a very generous 1 hook.
All right. Yeah, like I said, there are elements. There was something there. I will give it a generous 2 hooks. Again, another nostalgia bites. 1 is just the bottom line. I don't want to give anything zeros ever again. Like 1's got to be bottom line. Just So
Okay.
That's my rating system. So.
I personally will go to a 0 again, given if we ever cover some dog doo-doo movies in the future, just because it's fun to shit on movies that are really bad. But I like that, Lance. I do like that you, that we're still fans of these at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We still love them. They still are, they set us down this beautiful path that we're on, and they impressioned on us enough that you could even find some love and appreciation for the duds.
Right. Sounds good to me. All right. Well, that's our episode for I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Please check out our YouTube channel. We've got tons of fun stuff on there. If you've never seen it before, you're in for a great surprise. There's more fun stuff on our Facebook page, Dead Candy Fix. So go to facebook.com/Dead Candy Fix, or the YouTube page, Dead Candy, or our website. You can find literally everything there, deadcandy.com, DEDCANDY. All right. So that's Danny. I'm Lance, reminding you to
lock your doors,
bolt your windows.
And it's good. And I mean, it is all good.
And join us next time in our Slasher's Paradise.
Ben's son. Hey, did you see anything you like?
Thanks for watching Slasher's Paradise tonight. Please hit the like and subscribe button and turn on all of your notifications so you know the next time we post a video or go live.
And if you'd like an audio-only version of the show, search for us on wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it. We're on all the platforms. We just ask that you leave a rate and review of 5 stars. And if you don't know what to write in the review section, put a recommendation of a horror movie you would love for Lance and I to talk about.
Yes, and if you'd like to get the full experience of Slasher's Paradise, including videos and audio all together, go to deadcandy.com, that's DEDCANDY, or go to youtube.com/deadcandy. Here's to you guys.
This is Slasher's Paradise. Sorry, I had to work that in.
And I'm going to drink on that.
Blended Canadian.